in LA because that was Meghan's dream. Her dream was to be an A-lister, and she was unable to make it to those A-list parties.
Duchess of Sussex. Yep, her and Prince Harry have landed a new podcast deal after parting ways with Spotify.
Now, I don't care at all for the Harry and Meghan thing, except for the political undertones of somebody saying,
what if everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle was nothing but smoke and mirrors? Candace Owens didn't even blink when asked about the Duchess of Sussex. She pounced, tearing apart Meghan's claims of royal racism and her sob story about being silenced by the palace. But then, out of nowhere, 6 whispered words froze her in her tracks. What about the daughter she left behind? That was the moment Owens dropped the bombshell nobody else dared to touch. Looking straight into the camera, she unleashed the one line that could shatter Meghan's carefully polished image forever. Walking away from your own child.
My goodness, I can't believe you, Colin.
Now, the Sussexes have copped it from comedian Colin Just on
is different. Those words didn't just go viral. They cracked open a vault Meghan Markle has spent 30 years trying to lock shut. Deep in the shadows of Chicago lurks a truth so dangerous it could flip her image from the doting mother protecting Archie and Lilibet into the woman who abandoned her firstborn. And trust me, this is only the beginning of a story that grows darker with every detail. If you think you know Meghan's past, think again. We're about to walk through her missing year, sealed court records, and the secrets that terrify her team more than Buckingham Palace ever could. Buckle up, because this ride is going to blow apart everything you thought you knew about the Duchess.
Tom Bauer isn't some random internet gossip. He's an 85-year-old royal biographer who spent...
Summer 1994. Meghan Markle should have been basking in her golden moment. She just graduated from Immaculate Heart High School. Her classmates were all busy planning beach trips, buying dorm decorations, or soaking in their last teenage summer. But Meghan, she had something entirely different in mind. Forget carefree adventures. Meghan allegedly boarded a plane to Nevada with one secret goal: a wedding. Picture it, Las Vegas, a quiet chapel, no paparazzi, no glamorous gown, no bridal party, just 18-year-old Meghan, a reserved young man named Joe Giuliano, and a hush-hush ceremony that lasted mere minutes. 2 family witnesses, a friend flown in from Chicago, vows whispered in secrecy, and it was done. This wasn't the fairy tale spectacle Meghan would later enjoy with Prince Harry. This was a secret pact meant to be erased before the world could ever see it.
Something is seriously off about the way Meghan Markle and Prince Harry handled the births of their children. And now it's...
Joe Giuliano wasn't some flashy Hollywood fling. He came from a deeply traditional Italian-American family, one that lived by old-school rules. Marry young, start a family early, keep private matters locked behind closed doors. Meanwhile, Meghan was already dreaming of Northwestern University, Hollywood lights, and a stage with her name on it. Their worlds couldn't have been more different, yet somehow they stood side by side in that Vegas chapel, sealing a bond that would one day become Meghan's most dangerous secret. But here's the twist. The marriage barely lasted a few months. Meghan quickly filed for an annulment.
So Meghan Markle finally landed another Netflix deal, and for a brief second it looked like she was back in the driver's seat.
And unlike most annulments, which remain on public record, this one was sealed so tight it might as well have been buried in concrete. Even today, Clark County officials refuse to confirm whether the marriage ever existed. And here's the million-dollar question. If it was just a teenage mistake, a youthful misstep, why go to such extreme lengths to erase it? The chilling answer? Insiders whisper that something far more explosive happened during those months. Something that turned a simple annulment into a 3-decade cover-up. Officially, Meghan's biography reduces this entire period to a single neat line.
It started with a smile. Not a fake one, but the kind that feels practiced, polished, even weaponized.
Graduated in 1994, took a gap year, then enrolled at Northwestern in 1995 fall 1995. It's a story she's repeated endlessly in interviews about how she traveled the world, discovered herself, and soaked in new cultures before college. Sounds flawless, doesn't it? Almost too flawless. But when researchers tried to verify this so-called gap year, they slammed into a brick wall. No exchange program records, no visas, no photos, no travel companions, nothing.
Let's talk about Meghan Markle for a second, because something weird's going on, and it's got a lot of people raising eyebrows.
Just silence. Deafening silence. And here's where the whispers get louder. That missing year in Meghan's timeline matches perfectly with claims of something far more life-changing than backpacking across Europe. Reports say that by late 1994, Meghan was pregnant. By mid-1995, according to sources close to the Giuliano family, a baby girl had been born in Chicago.
Nobody expected it to sink this fast. After months of hype and curated PR moves, Meghan Markle...
Not in Los Angeles, not under Hollywood spotlights, but quietly, discreetly under the roof proof of Joe Giuliano's very traditional Italian family. From the beginning, the arrangement was crystal clear. Joe's family would raise the baby, Meghan would walk away. No custody battles, no court papers, no visible ties to expose her secret. This wasn't just hiding a teenage pregnancy. This was erasing a chapter of her life completely.
Stars, isn't it interesting that there's an attempt to portray Kate Middleton?
While other young mothers were cradling newborns, changing diapers, and battling sleepless nights, Meghan was allegedly perfecting the art of making inconvenient truths vanish. The Giuliano family, for decades, maintained a silence so absolute it bordered on supernatural. No baby photos, no birthday parties, no milestones posted proudly to neighbors. Nothing. But whispers always slip through the cracks.
From the United Kingdom to America is a young couple. They were part of the royal family.
Neighbors recalled glimpses of a little girl at family gatherings, yet she was never introduced formally. Whenever anyone asked, relatives brushed it off with a vague, "She's one of ours," before quickly changing the subject. And one neighbor claims to remember something chilling, someone muttering, "She was Meghan's before she was ours." These weren't sensational tabloids chasing clicks. These were ordinary people recounting quiet truths that lined up far too consistently over the years.
Meghan Markle is just the most predictable person in the entire world. She's very predictable. I knew.
If the rumors are true, Meghan's hidden daughter is nearly 30 years old today. Imagine it, walking through Chicago streets, living a normal life, blending into crowds with no one knowing she could be connected to one of the most famous women alive. Some even whisper she's Meghan's mirror image, the same sharp eyes, the same bone structure. But in official records, she doesn't exist. And for Meghan, that invisibility was the entire point.
Meghan and Harry, as you guys know, they're just looking for their privacy. It's all they want is their privacy. And this is...
By the time she stepped into Hollywood and later into royal life, this chapter had been scrubbed so thoroughly that Meghan herself could almost believe her rewritten story. The daughter in Chicago became a ghost. Meghan became free to reinvent herself as the woman who would capture a prince. But then came Candace Owens, and her bombshell words ripped open the silence. The internet didn't just react, it erupted. Within hours of Candace Owens' words, TikTok detectives were dissecting timelines like surgeons. On one side of the split screens, Meghan's polished gap year fairy tale. On the other, whispers of sealed annulments and a vanished child. Reddit lit up like wildfire. Users built sprawling family trees, connecting every Giuliano they could trace. YouTube channels froze frames of Meghan's interviews, replaying every time she gushed about motherhood, and slicing it brutally against speculation about the child she allegedly left behind. One viral video cut from Meghan telling Oprah, "I just wanted to be a mom." Straight to headlines about the missing daughter. The contrast was devastating. The contradiction hit so hard that even Meghan's die-hard fans hesitated. Comment sections flooded with words like, "I can excuse royal racism, but abandoning your own child? That's different." And that was the dagger. This wasn't palace drama anymore. No tiaras, no Netflix deals, no Meghan vs. Kate feuds. This was raw, blood, family, and character. Candace Owens hadn't just stirred gossip, she'd cracked open a hypocrisy too deep to ignore. And the online detective work? It only grew more relentless. Digital sleuths scoured every photo, every mention of Meghan between 1994 and 1995. They looked for a baby bump, they searched for proof of exotic travels, they found nothing. The more they dug, the shakier Meghan's gap year tale became. Meanwhile, the Chicago whispers, they sounded more credible by the minute. The internet had become a global investigative squad, and Meghan Markle was the cold case they refused to let go. TikTok creators kept churning out split-screen edits, Meghan talking about motherhood side by side with sealed court document rumors. The visual punch was brutal. A woman who had built her entire brand on protecting her children was now being accused of erasing one completely. On Reddit, threads exploded with timeline analyses. Users cross-referenced her so-called gap year with Northwestern enrollment records, travel visas, even the Giuliano family's own movements. Every hole in Meghan's narrative grew wider. YouTube creators jumped in too, turning this mystery into mini-documentaries. They interviewed old classmates, analyzed yearbook photos, and even hunted down chapel records from that summer in Vegas. The algorithm devoured it. Millions of views, endless debates, new audiences pulled into the storm, and Hollywood started whispering nervously. Meghan had built her brand on authenticity, her claim that she always spoke her truth. But if she'd buried a child for 3 decades, what truth could people believe? One producer allegedly told a journalist, "If this sticks, Meghan's brand collapses overnight. Audiences will forgive a lot, but they won't forgive fake authenticity." The industry knows controversy sells until it turns toxic, and this was pure poison. What made it worse was timing. Meghan's entire royal exit story rested on one foundation: protecting her kids from palace cruelty. She positioned herself as the mother who would go to war for Archie and Lilibet. But if she had abandoned another child decades earlier, that protective mother image shattered into a cruel contradiction. Cultural commentators wasted no time drawing parallels. They pointed to Jack Nicholson, who only learned later in life that the woman he thought was his sister was actually his mother. They dragged up Steve Jobs, whose strained relationship with his daughter haunted his legacy for years. The message was clear: the stain of abandonment never fades. And Meghan's biggest nightmare? That one day, out of nowhere, the silence breaks. That Chicago whispers turn into a face, a voice, a truth spoken out loud. Because when that day comes, it won't just be gossip. It will be the undoing of everything she spent her life constructing. It will turn Meghan Markle, not into the protector of children she's always branded herself as, but into the woman who erased one completely. And let's be real, the whispers aren't fading. They're getting louder, louder with every TikTok, louder with every Reddit thread, louder with every side-by-side timeline breakdown. Somewhere in Chicago, a truth waits. A truth that could set the internet on fire and bring Meghan's empire crashing down. And the scariest part? Nobody knows when or if that truth will finally step out of the shadows. The whispers from Chicago aren't just background noise anymore. They're growing like a storm cloud, and every time Meghan stays silent, the thunder gets louder. Think about how brutal the internet has become. Side-by-side edits, timelines dissected like crime scenes, memes with captions that sting like knives. This isn't something that fades with time. If anything, it snowballs. And Meghan's team knows it. They're not losing sleep over palace gossip. They're not trembling over Netflix executives. They're not even bothered about Spotify dropping contracts. What keeps them up at night is far simpler and far scarier. Chicago. That city holds the ghost Meghan tried to erase. One document, one DNA test, one interview, one photo, any of it could collapse the empire she's built. Because unlike palace drama or celebrity feuds, this isn't about popularity. This isn't about who wore what tiara. This is about something primal: blood, family, motherhood. And let's not forget, people forgive scandals. Hollywood thrives on them. Affairs, addictions, meltdowns, they get brushed aside, sometimes even spun into comebacks. But abandonment, that's different. That hits deep. That scars. That's why Candace Owens' words cut through everything like a blade. She didn't just question Meghan's brand, she questioned her soul. Because if Meghan really did walk away from her first child, then all her speeches, all her tears, all her "I just wanted to protect my kids" sound bites become nothing more than rehearsed lines in a script. And people don't forgive fake authenticity. Right now, Meghan Markle is balancing on a knife's edge. Every day, the silence stretches. Every day, Chicago whispers grow louder. Her brand of truth-telling and motherhood wobbles closer to collapse. And here's the haunting reality: time is not her friend. In the digital age, secrets claw their way out. They always do. And when this one does, Meghan Markle won't just be remembered as the actress who became a duchess or the woman who broke free from the palace. She'll be remembered as the mother who erased a child. The question is, will the truth finally roar out of Chicago, or will Meghan manage to bury it one last time? One thing is certain: the silence is deafening, and the world is listening.